My question, which I asked the last time, just is, have you, in the last round, have you actually talked to Boris Johnson and the British authorities about the imperative to have an all-Ireland approach to COVID-19 here, and what is their response to that? I mean, are they indifferent, dismissive to the, you know, what it just seems to me like from an infectious disease point of view is just an irrefutable fact that for us to operate on an all-Ireland basis from the point of view dealing with COVID-19 is by far the best and most effective way to deal with COVID-19. So can you elaborate a little bit more on what response are we getting if you're making the case, which you say you are, and indeed, you know, you're saying it's not about grandstanding, it's a practical imperative, which you say you recognise, and I believe you if that's what you say. But what response are we getting? I mean, other than you saying, well, it's two different jurisdictions, is that code for saying that you're just being told we don't care about the need for an integrated approach on an all-Ireland basis because we're two different jurisdictions and we're not cooperating on that basis? I mean, what is the block?
All right. Thank you, Deputy.
Deputy Boyd Barrett again raised issues in terms of the all-Ireland approach. I think actually the most recent announcements by the British government in terms of more severe restrictions in Britain and in the United Kingdom should give an opportunity in terms of how Northern Ireland responds. I would have thought that both the Republic, the North and the UK could have an opportunity in the next number of weeks to try and be at a similar level for a period of time. And the UK government has moved to very high levels of restrictions because of advice it has received from the public health authorities, and it's now acting on that advice. But there are, in terms of, as I said earlier, there would be different perspectives on the executive. There would be different perspectives within across the political spectrum within the North on the level that restrictions should be at, the length of time those restrictions should apply. And in my discussions with both the First Minister and Deputy First Minister, I would have identified early on, for example, the very high levels we had in Donegal and along the border in Cavan and in particular, and the need for common sense, pragmatic levels of cooperation. And I think we will continue to work with the Northern authorities in that regard over the next while, and I think it's important that we do in a constructive spirit and one of engagement. Deputy Richmond made a very important point. When I met with the British Prime Minister last August, one of the key outcomes of that meeting was to instruct our officials to work on developing proposals around structures for a post-Brexit British-Irish relationship and how the relationship would evolve structurally post-Brexit, because we were both members of the European Union since the early 70s, and during that period a significant degree of familiarity developed through meeting regularly at European Union meetings, both at official level and at political level. And in many ways that helped, I think, to improve and enhance the relationships between successive British and Irish governments over decades, in many ways leading to very significant, strong bilateral relationships, which I think underpinned the Downing Street Declaration and indeed the Good Friday Agreement itself. So the importance of the British-Irish dimension and relationship is, in my view, cannot be understated, and it's something we have to work very hard on post-Brexit, because I would worry about it if we don't move to recognise the realities of Brexit and the fact that the UK will be outside of the European Union, and the necessity therefore for on a whole host of bilateral issues, and also in terms of the issues on the island of Ireland, that Britain and Ireland will continue that very key relationship and develop structures and a stronger relationship post-Brexit to deal with those issues and to work harmoniously together. in relation to issues of mutual concern. And the British-Irish, next meeting of the British-Irish Council is on the 6th of November. It's hosted by the Scottish Government. It's virtual. And on the British-Irish Intergovernmental Conference, it would be my intention to try and accelerate and create new momentum in terms of that forum and in terms of the wider issue of British-Irish relations. Again, when I mentioned earlier, I think the question was asked by Deputy Boyd Barrett, what is the UK response in relation to COVID-19? Well, it has evolved, to put it that way. I think when we were introducing level 3, I'm not so sure the UK government was ready to go to level 3. Or certainly they weren't ready to go to the levels they're going to now. We then moved a higher notch after level 3 to level 5, having gone to level 4 in Donegal. The British government has now moved, and I think the issue of travel and the common travel area, I'm not opposed to the idea at all that Deputy MacDonald alluded to of is it possible in terms of the two islands having a common approach, particularly on the travel issue. Now, all areas are nearly red at the moment on travel, so that's problematic now, but I think the aviation industry does need some signals for the future in terms of the summer, for example, and that is why Ireland has decided to opt into the European Commission's travel proposals. But equally, on the British-Irish side, there is a need to see if we can develop a common approach on that. And there is work going on at the moment in terms of clinically validating antigen testing and whether that will be applicable or not. There's different perspectives within our health community around the value of antigen testing or the degree to which it can be used out there. Other countries are using antigen testing as part of their responses to COVID-19. And I believe the UK government are now looking at a pilot project in Liverpool, for example, in terms of the utilisation and application of antigen testing. That's something we're going to watch very, very carefully indeed.